So my friends, welcome back to a bit of maths medicine. Now then, bit of a different video for the channel, behind the scenes, how we go from making up a track list, getting it onto the decks, and then just simply green screening it all together and making it look all pretty. So before I begin, I do want to say a massive thank you guys for all the love, the support, and just subscribers on the channel recently. It means so much to me, thank you so much. So I'm not going to get all soppy about it, just thank you so much. Without further ado, let's get straight into the track list. I will have timestamped everything along the bottom, so if you're here to just learn how to green screen, feel free to skip away. But yeah, how do we make up the track list on the channel? So the way I've done it to make it a little bit easier for myself, sort all your tracks into subcategories. I know that's kind of stating the obvious, but you'll see what I mean. We're going to break it down a little bit more. So the playlists, if you didn't see what I did there when it comes to making a new playlist, you literally just press on this little arrow here and it will start an untitled playlist. Double click it, scroll back, and then we're just going to label it Fun Mix. Simple as. So that's our new playlist made up. I guess not made up, you know what I mean. And then down here you're thinking, okay, he's got part 10, fresh tunes, heavy intro, wobblers, what do all these different things mean? So I'm going to quickly break them down, and the reason I've done that into the different subcategories. So part 10 is purely what's going along with the channel at the minute. If you're following along with the mixes on the channel, you'll notice that we are up to number 10. So the reason this is P10 is because it shows me what tunes are fresh, what tunes I've newly bought, Jesus, and yeah, new ones I can feature on the channel, so it stops it from getting stale, as that's the most important thing. I don't want you guys to keep hearing the same songs over and over and over again. Obviously there will be some tunes that I will keep, and that is hence why I have fresh tunes. Now, these may be tracks that I've used before, tracks that I've had in P10, but there's only been a few left that have been unused, so they've slipped into the fresh tunes. And it's more of a buffer zone, so I know what tracks are still fresh, maybe featured once or twice on the channel, but I feel as though we could get a little bit more out of them. So it's like I say, it's a buffer zone for me to know what tracks that I've got to make up a track list with, instead of overwhelming myself with 500 tracks. Because if we go down a little bit, and I'm going to just skip along down to Jump Up and Rollers down at the bottom, and you'll see that we've got 500 tracks in each. Now, if you're trying to make up a playlist from that, good luck. That's all I'm saying. Good luck, because you are going to be scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. At least if you've got a small section of tracks, you've got yourself kind of not so much room to just kind of keep playing around with it, but you kind of limit yourself, not too much, but in a way that you don't get overwhelmed with the amount of tracks you can put in one mix. That is your kind of limit, if that makes sense. I know it's it's an odd way of doing it, but to me it stops me from just, like I say, sitting there and scrolling going, what can I use next? I'll only have a section of songs I can use, so I just have to hope that one of them will mix. If not, I go on to my fresh tunes, and then if not, I have to go to the 500 tunes, and then I'm really screwed, and it's going to take me a little while. So, when it comes to, like I say, Jump Up Rollers, I will have my main bass line, but fundamentally when it comes to making up a new mix, I will be picking them from P10 and fresh tunes. Now, going a little further down, I'm just going to skip because wobblers, that's a new and coming genre. Don't quote me on that, because it might not be, but we'll see. I believe it is. So, hardcore, neurofunk, sing along. So, sing along. Now, these are tracks that are going to bring the beat down. Tracks you want to be slipping in at least every 7 to 8 tunes. That's the way I roughly do it. Tunes that are going to bring the vibe down, not too much, because the reason it's not going to come down too much is because people are going to sing along. Surprise! So yeah, just the sing along bit is, you know, everyone needs that little break in drum and bass and that bit to kind of pull you back, and then you go again. Think of it like a roller coaster. You go all the way up, you build, and then you're off. You're off on your roll. So yeah, that's the sing-along tunes. They're kind of the break-up tunes, we'll call them. They break up the mix. Then going further down, I'm going to skip Liquid because that's the obvious. Energy. Now, these are tunes that are just going to make you go fuck off, because they've got so much energy that no matter what the situation is, it's going to make people have a good time. But obviously they're going to be subject to me. Not everyone might feel that, so you know, it's one of those kind of like break-up tunes. You can use them to just kind of peak your energy. Once you've got to the top, those are your tunes that you're using at the top, and then from there you slightly bring it back down again. It's like I say, the mix all runs in waves, you've just got to ride it. So that's why I've broken that up into energy, and then obviously we've got jungle, rollers and jump up. The reason I have an MP3 playlist, and I would recommend this, is a little section where you can double check that your tracks aren't shitty quality. You've got a playlist that features all shitty quality tracks basically, so you know never to play them live. You can practice with them, but you'll just never play them live. If you want to play them live, go and get the file. Trust me, they will sound like shite. Obviously not all MP3s. If you've bought the MP3 file and you've checked the KBS of it and it's 192, you might be able to get away with it, but 320 is what you want. 192 is, it's okay through speakers like these, but big speakers, no, don't do it. So yeah, and then obviously my tracks, not many in there at the minute, and then you've got the whole albums and dubs and yeah, just small things like that to break it up, and then yeah, all the thingies. So that's literally in a nutshell the way I've broken up my subcategories of tracks to make live mixing a little easier for myself. Like I say, just having a P10 and I'm gonna call it a P10, fuck's sake, having a new subcategory of just fresh tunes that you haven't used before is going to narrow down the amount of tunes you have for yourself. As, like I say, sitting there with 500 to 1,000 tunes in front of you, you've got so many tunes going through your head that you can't physically process what song you want to go to next, and it just helps break it down. But like I say, this is my way of doing it. People have different ways, so feel free to, if you've got another way of doing this, feel free to let people know, because the more the merrier in my eyes. So yeah, moving on from that, let's start making up a playlist. So then, we've done a little restart so I can actually show you guys the full record box and what I'm doing on there, because there was only half of it. So, USB from decks into laptop. Once we've got it into the laptop, you'll see that it will come up down here with your devices, obviously being Mac, and yeah, we are literally going to, they all start to disappear, there we go. So we're going to just go from P10. Now, when it comes to your first tune is always, it needs to be a big tune. That, hands down, it's your tune to say, hello guys, I'm here. That's pretty much, you know, hello guys, I'm here and I'm not playing around. That's pretty much the idea of it. So for this one, I'm just going to go, I need. It's not too heavy. It's a tune that I can build the energy upon, but it's also a nice tune that's going to capture an audience. So we're going to start with I Need. Now, I'm literally going to leave it there, and we're going to go onto the decks, because I literally just leave it on the first tune and then I work with it on my decks. I don't just keep adding tunes in and hoping that they're all going to mix together. I will give them a little tester, maybe even, you know, mix one song with about 10 different songs to see which one works the best. It can get lengthy. So yeah, back to this. You hit Sync Manager, and then normally that box wouldn't be ticked, but I'd tick it. And then you just pop them all over with that arrow. Obviously, if you saw the export bit come up down here, close that. Now this is very key. Be sure to eject your USB. Do not just rip it out, eject it, remove the USB device, otherwise it will corrupt and you will be left with pretty much nothing left on your USB, and you have to start from square one. So once you've ejected it, you're going to pull it out and then stick it in the decks. Down the side here, we have USB, link, SD. We're not going to worry about the SD and this. We're just going to hit USB and then link onto the other deck. So as you can see, the USB shall come up. We'll go into playlists, and in there we will have our fun mix playlist that we wanted. Now, when it comes to making up this track list, I don't waste time with bothering to listen to the whole build up, because I know that it's a good build up. It's just wasted time sitting here for the next minute. Instead, I'll just skip to my cue point and away we go. So I already know that this tune has energy, but it can go up a little bit more. So I'm going to stick a wobbler on top of it. Luckily, my wobblers aren't there's not too many at the moment. There's only about 40-ish in there. So the track that's coming to mind at the minute is Diva. It's a recently released Phibes tune. Let me see if I can find it. It's on somewhere. There she is. Right. Key point. Now, CDJ 2000s can be quite lucky, because you can flip these so you still have waveforms, but you can't be dependent on these. They don't always match up how you want, so you still have to use your ear. Regardless of what people say, you cannot depend on those. they're complementing each other pretty well. Slowly bring the bass out. And now we're on to Diva. Now what I tend to do is, to make this easier for myself, on the next 16 bar, I will pause it. Now this is where it really helps to know your tracks, as I know that Diva has the rest of this track without this bass line. It basically is like a rebuild, in my opinion. So, I'm going to choose higher, purely because it's got a bit of vocals. I don't know if this is going to work the same way I have in mind, but it should do. So, I'm going to start it, switch to there, there. These are your vocals. That didn't work. Reason that didn't work is because that is a perfect bit to bring the vibe down, and we're only the third track in. Did not work. Back we go! So then, what's next? What's next? We'll go for Ultrafunk. That might just bring it back into where we want it to be. Because Ultrafunk, it's got that jump uppy vibe, but it's still a mix of rollers. You'll see what I mean. I'm gonna wait for the end of this 32 bar. Right then. So my idea here is, because like I say, the bass line of Diva is gone. So we're rebuilding it onto a new bass line. That's the idea of this. But you want it to complement all as one. You want it to mix, like I said, mixing it round. At this point, I don't bother with really adjusting my EQs because I'm literally just blend. You can hear if the tracks work together. These are just going to increase it. Here we go. Oh, I think this may go a different way. Okay. See what I mean? You can't always depend on these. I didn't really think that was going to work so well, to be fair. So that's one way of doing it. For the moment, we're going to keep it as simple like that. Let's go. So I want to build it back up again, hence why I've paused it there. We're going to go to a rollers tune, 100%. 100%, I'm feeling that. It should, from what I've got in my head, work out well. You know what, let's not go for Badman, because that's more of a sub. Axium is probably the kind of vibe we're wanting for this, because that's more of a, and then that should question and answer each other. But we'll see, we'll see. So, jeez! And while I'm doing this, obviously, I'll drag them all into thumbnails and just keep it going. Well, I forget to do that. We're going to pause that just so it doesn't run away from us and we can pick up where we left off. So, we're 4 tunes in now, and then obviously this, like I say, it's more of a rollers vibe, but I do think it could potentially do with a little wobbler. A little wobbler. Reason being is because it already has the wobbler vibe and it should take it out, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong because it could overpower things. But we'll see where it goes. So same as before, 2 points, play button at the ready, and bang. I didn't know the bass line came out there actually. That was unexpected. That worked pretty well. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Drag that in. Right, we're now on track number 5. So, I'm now going to go for a sub over this, being this track. That's a bit of lyrics, so we're going to... As you can see on this, it's still got a bit more time. No, we're not going to pull it in there. We're going to pull it in a little bit later on. I want it to drop there. See how this goes. There we go, that's sounding sweet. Luckily the bass line came out, so being able to keep that momentum going. Let's drag that in the box. Now this song is brilliant because you can bring in whatever the fuck you like. I know that sounds really weird, but I'm going to show you what I mean. Once again, stopping it. This tune, just for me, I love energy on top of rollers. And that is this combination in a nutshell. So, let's give it a go. We're going to bring her in. We're going to bring her in early. It's going to be an unsuspected one. Here we go. Doesn't work as well as I'd like, but I can pass for it. Because now we've got the energy and we are on the 7th track, so this will be perfect to bring it back down again. So, pausing on the 16th bar, we're going to bring it back down again. Now, if I remember correctly, this is a nice bit of vocals in, so let's... Here we go. My bad. We've got to switch. There we go, we're on the right 2 points. Nope, we're going up again. My bad. Here we go. Right, now we know how we want it. Sweet. Beautiful. Right, we're back down again. So repeat, we're bringing it back down. Now, this is a point where I think, could I just add a little bit more? A little bit more? Just listen. Nah, leave that as it is. Leave that as it is. But we will have rollers. That's definitely a rollers vibe. I don't know if I have any rollers in these actually. Let me have a look. So I don't know all of these tunes. We're going to go for Jenks. If you don't know this guy, check him out. He can pronounce some banging tunes. He's in 14 as well, it's pretty intense. Doesn't work as well as I'd liked it. Back we go. This has got a lot of energy. Unfortunately, that track didn't have as much energy as I thought it did. This could work. This is quite a good tune. Right. Working nicely. Oh yeah, I can pass with that. That's decent. Let's go for Shag. Bring that energy, keep it going. So we are now at track number 9. I'm going to leave it at 10. Let's see how this goes. Too much going on for me there. Way too much going on. Let's have... Right, we're going to the backup playlist. Let's get something... I really like these Benny L tunes because they're just like blank slates where you can just pretty much... Well, I'd say this and this is not going to mix well, but mix whatever you want with them. There we go. Yeah, that works. Like I say, there's just a blank slate. Right, we're going to leave it at that. That's 10 tunes. But you get the picture. It's just going back and forth, trying out tunes, thinking to yourself, what's going to complement this tune after this tune. So then, you've sorted out your tunes, got your playlist ready, now you just need to do the green screening. So it's not just left at this. We have more sheets. I'm going to speed this bit of the video up because it's a bit of a pain in the ass. That isn't tall enough, because I will leave a link in the description if I can get the word for it. Just so you guys can see what I've got and then you guys can easily go and buy the same. Let me unscrew it and then you can take it off, flip it round. There we go, it's like a walking green screen at that point. Nah, but it's pretty cool because you've got the stand. This is not what it's meant for. Pull that, bring this bit up. There we go. And then you can rest that on that. And then you've got yourself a portable green screen. So yeah, that's that side of things if you needed to do it just vertically. You've got yourself a vertical green screen from that. But if you want to do it long ways, When you've got it like this, you need a sheet to go over the top of it. There'll also be a link to this bad boy in the description as well. In some ways, a bit of a worse colour than the green screen that is this, because it's more reflective. So on that front, it's not very helpful, and I do apologise. Which size round have I got this? I'm speeding this bit up. Go. You're going to want pegs, green pegs. Once again, links in the description. Obviously, lift thinner up. Wherever the thingy was. I think I'm done. I'm not sure what I've done. Give me a second. Right, we're only down to 3. We're down to 3 now. That's fine. And this is where the clothes pegs are going to come into play. Just take one with me. So, as you can see, it's already doubled in height. Fantastic, off to a fantastic start. We just now need straight. You don't want the wrinkles, that's what I mean. You don't want the wrinkles. Pull that down, because as you can see up there, that's the only side that's wrinkled. So then once we let that side go, it should flush. It should all be flush. Is it flush? It's not amazing, but this will do. This will do, that is the main thing. So, things like this are a problem. You do not want like elements like this. This is what fucks most of my green screens the majority of the time, and you will see why. I'm going to keep this in the video just for an example. So, this is pretty much how I do it on the channel, just like this. Fantastic. So then, we've done the green screening. I say green screening. We've put up the green screen. Everything's in shot that we need to be in shot. Like I say, we're literally going to cut those bits off and keep the green bit. So then, onto the software. You've got the recording on your phone, camera, whatever. You've just got to make sure that you can get it into your laptop. You're recording from your phone to your laptop or camera or whatever. Once you've got it onto your laptop, you're going to go onto this program called Lightworks. Now you need to be having your recording in an MP4. Don't make it a MOV. If it's a MOV, it's not going to go into Lightworks. You need it to be an MP4. So create a new project. Don't need to worry about that too much, by the way. Most recordings will be an MP4. Yeah, so create new project up here. Now this is completely free. You only need to pay if you want to export in 1080 and unlock some of their more advanced features, but what we're going to be doing is very basic and you don't need to pay. All the free trial, banging. So we're going to call this just test for the time being. Now, depending on your background, it's not advised using mixed rates because it can sometimes mess with your green screening, but at the same time, if you're using green screen videos like I am, where it's just kind of not audio responsive and it's just a random background that you've found that's free to use on the internet, then I would use mixed rates and just hope for the best that it all matches up together. And then yeah, hit create. So on your files, please excuse the mess of my files folder, you're going to drag in the two things that you want, which luckily I've already highlighted. Be in that background and that image. Once they're both sitting in there, we're going to go over to edit. Going to add another video. So the way you do this is you right click on V1, head down to tracks and then add video, and then you're going to drag your green screen video into V1. You know what, I'm going to drag that into V2 first and then that over the top. It has created a bit of a pickle with the audio sometimes, and I don't know why this happens, where it will backlog onto there when you really don't need it to backlog onto there. So just remove those thingies. Obviously this is still going to have the audio. Let me just delete that, we don't need that into there. Right, so when we come back onto here, you should be looking with, it should be looking like this basically. That in V1, your audio being your image, and then the video to looking like that. Either way, we're still going to cut the audio, at least I'm still going to cut the audio to put the overlay of the audio in. And then V1, you're going to add 3D DVE, because obviously we're looking at it upside down right now. Into Z, 180, you might not have this problem, it might just be normal. And then crop, we're going to crop from the left, in this case it will be the right, because obviously we have flipped it, and then from the right, and then the bottom in this case, which is now the top, and then top there, so we're in a little box, and then if you hit Z you can kind of increase your size a little bit more, bring that down, right click again on your image, and then you're going to want to add chroma key. And once you add chroma key, this little color picker here, you go bam, click on the color you want, and to make this a bit easier for yourself, you can reveal it, but I like to do this. My bad, no, I've done it the wrong way around, there we go. And it should, once you've got all the, once it's all white, that should be where you want, there we go. That's all white, and then when we hit play, it's going to start to look how we want it to look. And just fiddle around with these a little bit more. You're cutting out the colours. You don't want to go into the black too much, otherwise, you see what I mean? It will, if you go into black, you get your decks to disappear, that's the problem. So you need a fine line of light to dark green, and then, I don't know if you can see on the corners here, it's just not properly textured in, so you're just going to want to up your key softness and then lower your spill. So it all flows into one, and then just like that, you've got your green screen mix. Now, once I've made this, you literally just right click, export, and 720. Make sure your frame rate is at 60 FPS. If it's anything lower, it's going to start cutting frame rates, and when you try and match your audio in, you're going to be fucked. Your audio is not going to match up because you're going to have frame rates being cut out, and it's going to slowly, this video will slowly go in front of the audio, which we have had before on the channel, and it is a pain in the ass. So yeah, 60 FPS, 720, you can't go much higher because obviously it's free, you need Pro if you want to go higher. And then name whatever you want, blah 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 blah, and just hit start, and then it will start exporting. Once you've done that, this to me is, I mean, you can do it a number of ways. I just stick it in iMovie on my phone. It's dependable on the person, but yeah, I just stick it on iMovie. So, I've just realised iPhone do have a handy little screen recording feature, so I'm going to show you literally the finisher. Scrap what I said where I wasn't able to show you, that was my bad. So, once you've exported your movie from Lightworks, I upload it to iCloud Drive. Once it's onto iCloud Drive, I then take it off iCloud Drive and then put it into my camera roll, basically. Now that I've got the mix in my camera roll, I will then also put the audio onto iCloud Drive and then put it all into iMovie.
I make a big noise playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday, you got my...
The reason I add the audio in right at the end is because it just guarantees that you're going to have crystal clear audio. You don't want to risk losing all this audio within making up your mix and exporting it, as fundamentally, you know, the audio is the main thing of the DJ mix. If your audio is off, then it's just, what's the point? So yeah, you need the audio crystal clear, so add it back in at the end like I've just shown you. So yeah, that's pretty much start to finish how I make up my green screen mixes, and I get it all done in the end on the phone, just the same thing I'm recording through. But yeah, it's like I say, it was a bit of a different video, bit of a background video. Hopefully it might have been of some use to you guys or of some interest, who knows. I'm going to start like a little Q&A type thing and just kind of have a bit of fun with some videos on the side as well as the green screen mixes. So if you've got any questions for me, feel free to send them in. I'll put them into like a little box, and then I will get them all together in one big video for you guys. So without further ado, thank you so much, my friends.